Okay, now that you guys are really good at finding arc lengths and sector areas by rounding, I want to just talk us through what we would do if we wanted an exact value that isn't rounded. So just to remind you of a calculator skill, if you want to change a decimal into a fraction, you're going to enter all the multiplication and division into your calculator, and you'll get a big old ugly decimal. Then you push second PRB, that will give you this little fraction to decimal, and then press enter. If you get an answer like this, that's a mixed number, you're going to want to push second, the mixed number to improper fraction button, and that will convert it. Oh, I wrote mixed fraction. It'll convert it into an improper fraction, which is kind of what we're going for. So I want you to just take a minute and practice typing these things in your calculator and turning them into improper fractions, and then I will meet you back here. All right, so here are answers. Hopefully that was pretty easy. The one thing I want you guys to notice is if I have a variable here, I'm just going to type in everything else, and then the variable, since it's multiplying, will just be on the numerator. If the variable was dividing, it would just end up on the denominator. Even on this one, y was kind of in the middle of everything, I still just multiply everything else and then tack on the y. Okay, so looking down here, we're going to practice using, exact values when multiplying by pi. And what we're going to do is we're really going to treat pi like it's a variable. So we're going to multiply everything else, and we're going to just leave pi, since it's multiplying, we're going to just leave pi in the numerator. If I multiply by pi, this is an irrational number. So if I multiply this by pi, I won't be able to get a fraction. So I'm going to multiply everything except the pi and then add the pi on at the end. So go ahead and practice leaving these expressions in terms of pi, and I will see you back here in a second. Okay, so here are our answers. Remember, you are going to just multiply everything except the pi. Even if pi is in the middle, you kind of multiply everything else. Multiply all of that stuff, and then at the end, the pi just gets tacked on. So you're going to multiply everything else, and then at the end, the pi will get tacked on. The reason we're doing this is because sometimes when we are looking for arc length or sector areas, we want an exact value. And once we've multiplied by the pi, we are going to have to round because that will go on forever. So to get an exact value, we are going to leave our formulas and our answers in terms of pi. So you just had a whole lot of practice and instruction on finding arc length and sector areas. I want you to complete number 9 and 10, but instead of rounding this time, you are going to leave your answer in terms of pi. So that means that you will have some sort of fraction, an improper fraction or otherwise, and then you will add on the pi. So go ahead and try these ones, and we will check your answers when you're done. Okay guys, here are my answers. For arc length, remember I am using, this is my percentage of the circle, so my angle over the total 360 times circumference. In this case, r is 5. When I type in, I'm typing in everything except the pi. And that's where I got this fraction from. And then I just tack the pi on the numerator since it's multiplying. Okay, and I get 65 pi over 12. For my sector area, again, percentage of the circle, so my angle over the total degrees times the total area, which is pi times 5 squared. I multiply all of everything except for the pi, and then at the end I'm going to tack the pi on. Because it's multiplying, it goes on the numerator. So that's how I got those answers, in case you did not get the same thing. For number 10, same idea. I'm going to multiply in my calculator everything except for the pi. simplify that into a fraction. That's where I get my 28/3. And then after that, I add the pi on to the numerator because it's multiplying. Okay. And then on number 10, once again, we're doing percentage of the circle times the area of the circle, which is pi times 7 squared. I'm going to multiply everything except something like that, everything except the pi, get my fraction, and then multiply the pi at the end. So hopefully you will feel confident that you can find an arc length and a sector area, whether by rounding or by using exact values. We will talk more about this when I'm back on Wednesday or Thursday, and I will see you then.